Welcome back to Starbound Valor HFY. The rise of humanity continues. The Galactic Council hall was quiet in a way that made even the oldest species uncomfortable. The hall was vast, larger than many cities, filled with floating seats arranged in perfect circles. Each seat held a representative of a powerful race. Some beings were made of living metal, their bodies shining under the soft lights. Others were tall and thin with glowing eyes, while a few existed only as shadows inside energy fields. For thousands of years, this hall had been a place of noise, pride, and endless arguments. Wars had been started here. Civilizations had been erased with simple votes. Today, however, there was silence. At the center of the hall, a massive holographic platform waited, empty and dark. The council members knew why they were here, and that knowledge made them uneasy. At the far edge of the chamber stood a single figure, small compared to the others. The human ambassador waited calmly. He did not float. He did not glow. He did not show any signs of power. He simply stood there, hands behind his back, eyes focused forward. Many council members glanced at him with mild interest or quiet amusement. Humanity was young. Humanity was new. In the long history of the galaxy, humans were barely a footnote. When the High Speaker finally broke the silence, his voice echoed through the hall. He announced that the final topic of the meeting was human expansion and military development. A few beings laughed softly. One reptilian lord openly mocked the idea that humans could threaten anyone. Another ancient race suggested placing limits on human travel before they became a problem. The human ambassador did not react. He waited. The High Speaker raised a claw and ordered the hologram to activate. The platform came to life, projecting an image of deep space. At first, it showed nothing but darkness and distant stars. Then something began to appear. Shapes formed slowly, like shadows moving through fog. Large shadows. Massive shadows. As the image sharpened, the laughter died. What appeared before the council was a fleet of warships, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ships were enormous, larger than planetary defense stations. Their surface was completely black, not the black of metal or paint, but a deeper black that seemed to swallow light. Scanners activated across the hall. Data streams flashed in front of every representative. Then error messages appeared. The ships gave off no heat, no radiation, no energy signatures. They were there, clearly visible, yet impossible to understand. One by one, council members felt a cold sense of fear spread through their minds. An ancient being known for surviving 10 galactic wars leaned forward and whispered that this was impossible. Dark matter was unstable, untouchable, unusable. Every civilization had tried and failed. The High Speaker demanded answers and turned toward the human ambassador. For the first time, all eyes in the hall focused on the human. He stepped forward slowly. His voice was calm, steady, and respectful. He explained that humanity had been listening to the galaxy for a long time. Humans had watched wars destroy worlds. They had seen councils fail to protect the weak. They had learned quietly. He did not explain how the ships worked. He did not explain how many there were. He simply said that this fleet was called the Dark Matter Armada. The words alone caused a reaction. Several council members tried to stand, their bodies reacting to ancient survival instincts. Others began speaking at once, demanding scans, demanding tests, demanding proof. The High Speaker ordered silence again. He asked a single question, one that carried the weight of the galaxy. He asked why humanity had built such weapons. The human ambassador looked around the hall, meeting eyes that once looked down on his species. He said humanity did not build these ships to rule the galaxy. They built them because one day, someone would try to rule humanity. The hologram shifted. The image zoomed out, showing the Dark Matter Armada positioned far from council space. They were not attacking. They were not advancing. They were simply waiting. A waiting predator. A senior council scientist reported that even the presence of the ships was bending local space. Travel lanes near them were unstable. Weapon systems across nearby sectors were malfunctioning. This was not just a fleet. It was a force that rewrote the rules of war. The human ambassador added one final statement. He said the Armada was under full human control, and it would remain silent as long as the Council chose peace. He smiled slightly, not with pride, but with certainty. The hall remained silent once more. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council understood something terrifying. Humanity was not asking for permission. Humanity was informing them. And somewhere in the dark between stars, the black ships waited, unmoving, as if the entire galaxy was holding its breath. The silence did not last long. Fear never stays quiet for long, especially in a place where power decides survival. Voices began to rise across the Galactic Council hall, first in whispers, then in sharp arguments. Some representatives demanded the hologram be shut down, as if removing the image would erase the threat. Others called for immediate military action, their instincts shaped by ages of domination. A few ancient beings said nothing at all, their minds racing through memories of past disasters that began in rooms just like this one. The human ambassador remained still, watching the reactions without emotion. He had expected this. Panic was always louder than reason. The High Speaker struck the floor with his staff, sending a shockwave of sound through the chamber. Order slowly returned, but the fear remained, thick and heavy in the air. The High Speaker demanded a full explanation of the Dark Matter Armada, stating that such weapons violated every known galactic agreement. The human ambassador responded calmly, saying humanity had signed no agreement that limited survival. That single sentence caused outrage. Several council members accused humans of arrogance, of hiding dangerous technology while pretending to be weak. One insectoid diplomat claimed humanity had deceived the galaxy. Another suggested immediate sanctions and isolation. As accusations flew, a technical council group continued scanning the fleet. Their results grew worse by the second. The ships did not obey known physical laws. Energy readings changed randomly, then vanished. Attempts to map their structure failed, as if the ships refused to be understood. One scientist admitted that even observing the ships seemed to damage sensor arrays. The Dark Matter Armada was not just invisible to weapons, it was hostile to knowledge itself. This revelation spread through the hall like a disease. A respected elder from a long-dead empire finally spoke. His voice was slow and careful. He reminded the council that dark matter was believed to exist everywhere, holding galaxies together. To shape it into weapons meant humanity had learned to control the very structure of the universe. He asked a question no one wanted to hear. If humans could build these ships, what else could they build? The hall grew quiet again, but this time the silence was filled with dread. The High Speaker turned back to the human ambassador and asked directly if the Armada could destroy a member world. The human did not answer immediately. He paused, as if choosing words carefully. He then said humanity had tested the Armada far from inhabited space. The results were classified. That answer was enough. Several representatives recoiled in fear. Classified results meant devastation beyond imagination. One warlike species demanded proof of limits, insisting that no power should exist without restraint. The human ambassador replied that limits were chosen by those who held power, and humanity had chosen restraint. Not because it was weak, but because it understood the cost of unchecked force. The hologram shifted again, showing a small group of Council defense ships approaching one dark matter vessel for closer inspection. This was not planned by the humans. A nervous defense commander had acted on his own, believing proximity would reveal something useful. As the ships approached, their systems began to fail. Communication went silent. Engines lost control. The defense ships drifted helplessly, trapped by invisible forces. The dark matter ship did not move. It did not fire. It did nothing. After several long seconds, the defense ships simply vanished. There was no explosion, no light, no sound. They were gone, erased as if they had never existed. Panic exploded across the hall. Representatives shouted. Some tried to flee their seats. Emergency protocols activated, sealing exits and raising shields. The High Speaker demanded to know what had happened. The human ambassador stated clearly that the Armada had defensive fields. The approaching ships had entered a restricted zone. The human added that no attack had been made. The Council's own actions caused the loss. This explanation did nothing to calm them. Instead, it confirmed their worst fears. Humanity did not need to attack. Proximity alone was deadly. A senior council strategist asked the question that mattered most. He asked what humanity wanted. The hall went silent once more. The human ambassador looked around slowly, meeting faces filled with fear, anger, and confusion. He said humanity wanted a place at the table without being threatened. They wanted an end to forced tribute, slave raids, and extinction wars. They wanted a galaxy where survival was not decided by age or size. He said the Armada existed to make sure those words were heard. The High Speaker realized then that the balance of power had already changed. The Council was no longer deciding humanity's future. Humanity was deciding the galaxy's. As the meeting continued, one truth became clear to every being present. The Dark Matter Armada had not shaken the Galactic Council because of its weapons. It had shaken them because it revealed something far more dangerous. Humanity had surpassed fear, and a species without fear could never again be controlled. The Council demanded answers, and answers required history. The High Speaker ordered a full record review of humanity, something rarely done for a young species. What appeared on the central display was not the story most of the galaxy believed. It did not begin with diplomacy or trade. It began with fire. Early images showed Earth divided by borders, nations fighting nations, humans fighting humans. Wars were constant, brutal, and personal. Millions died, not because of aliens, but because of human fear and ambition. Many council members felt satisfaction seeing this. It confirmed their belief that humans were unstable and dangerous. The human ambassador did not object. He allowed the images to continue. The next phase showed humanity leaving its home world, spreading into nearby systems. The council expected images of conquest. Instead, they saw colonies struggling, ships breaking apart, settlements failing, humans starving in cold space. Again and again, humanity almost disappeared. But they adapted. Every failure became a lesson. Every loss became knowledge. They did not quit. They learned how to survive in silence, without help, without mercy. Then the images changed. A deep space mining station appeared, far beyond normal trade routes. Sensors showed a massive explosion. The station was destroyed instantly. No survivors. The Council leaned forward. This was new information. Records showed an unknown fleet had attacked the station. No markings. No communication. Humanity sent ships to investigate, but found nothing. Only distorted space and radiation scars. The human ambassador explained that this was the first contact humanity never reported. The attackers never returned, but the message was clear. Humans were not alone, and something powerful had noticed them. Fear entered the human story. Not the loud fear of panic, but the quiet fear of preparation. The images showed secret research facilities built deep inside asteroids and beneath planetary crusts. Human scientists studied dark matter not as a weapon, but as a shield. At first, nothing worked. Experiments failed. Stations collapsed. Entire teams were lost. The Council watched humans die again and again, willingly risking everything. An elder scientist from the Council admitted that most species would have stopped. Humanity did not. They changed their thinking. Instead of forcing dark matter to obey machines, they built systems that listened to it. They studied patterns, not equations. Over generations, small successes appeared. Tiny controlled reactions. Stable pockets of dark matter. The breakthrough came during a human civil crisis. A failed reactor threatened to destroy an entire planet. In desperation, humans used experimental dark matter containment to absorb the blast. It worked. The planet survived. Humanity realized then that dark matter was not chaos. It was balance. From that moment, everything changed. The images showed shipyards hidden inside nebulae and empty regions of space. No large fleets. No public displays. Humans built slowly and quietly. Each ship was tested in isolation. Failures were erased from records. Successes were buried even deeper. The Council began to understand why they had never seen this coming. Humanity had learned the art of patience. While older empires expanded loudly, humans prepared silently. The display showed the first complete dark matter vessel. It did not look like a warship. It had no weapons, no engines, no visible power source. Yet when activated, nearby space bent around it. Human commanders realized that control, not firepower, was the true strength. Over time, the fleet grew. Not large in number, but perfect in function. Each ship was connected through human neural command systems, allowing instant response without delay. No artificial intelligence. No external control. Only human minds and discipline. The Council reacted strongly to this revelation. Many species feared neural control, believing it dangerous and unstable. The human ambassador explained that humans trusted themselves more than machines. They accepted responsibility for every action the Armada took. The images ended with humanity's final decision. They would not reveal the fleet unless forced. They would not threaten unless threatened. They would wait. For decades, they waited, watching the galaxy repeat the same mistakes. Strong preyed on weak. Councils debated while worlds burned. Humanity held its silence. The human ambassador concluded the history calmly. He said the Dark Matter Armada was not born from conquest, but from fear of extinction. Humanity did not build it to rule the galaxy. They built it to make sure no one could erase them quietly. The Council understood then that the Armada was not humanity's greatest weapon. Humanity's greatest weapon was memory. They remembered every loss, every betrayal, every ignored warning. And they had decided never to be helpless again. The Council had heard the history, but history alone could not calm fear. Power was real only when it moved. The High Speaker ordered real-time monitoring of the Dark Matter Armada, hoping distance would provide comfort. The hologram shifted to a live feed. The black ships still waited in deep space, silent and unreadable. For a brief moment, some Council members believed the threat was controlled. That belief ended when a navigation officer reported sudden spatial distortion near the fleet. Travel lanes flickered and bent as if space itself was being pulled. The Dark Matter Armada was moving. Not with engines or thrust, but by changing the rules around it. The ships did not travel through space. Space adjusted to them. The movement was slow, deliberate, and impossible to track with normal instruments. Council defense networks attempted to predict their path and failed. Every calculation returned impossible results. Panic returned to the hall. The High Speaker demanded clarification. The human ambassador explained that the Armada was repositioning to a neutral holding pattern. He said this calmly, as if moving a force that could break galaxies was routine. The explanation did little to ease fear. As the ships shifted, entire regions of space near Council borders became unstable. Communication delays increased. Jump gates malfunctioned. Some systems went dark for seconds at a time, long enough to cause accidents and loss of life. Reports flooded in from nearby sectors. Pilots described stars stretching and shrinking. Sensors reported gravity spikes without mass. The Council realized the Armada did not need to enter their territory to affect it. Its presence alone reshaped reality. A group of senior military leaders demanded the activation of Council-wide defense systems. Ancient weapons, built to fight godlike enemies, powered up across the galaxy. Massive energy spikes lit the hologram. For the first time, the Council appeared ready for war. The human ambassador did not stop them. He only warned that targeting systems would not lock. The Council ignored him. They needed to feel control. When targeting arrays focused on the Dark Matter Armada, systems failed one by one. Weapons lost calibration. Power feeds drained into nothing. Some platforms shut down completely. Others overheated and destroyed themselves. The Armada remained untouched. Not because it defended itself, but because the weapons could not recognize it as a target. It existed outside their understanding of threat. Fear turned into despair. A Council scientist explained that dark matter interaction was disrupting fundamental constants. Weapons built on known physics could not function nearby. This was not superior armor. This was immunity by nature. The human ambassador spoke again, reminding them that humanity had not fired a single shot. He stated that the Armada's movement was a message, not an attack. It was showing the Council the consequences of fear-driven action. The hologram zoomed in on a single ship as it moved closer to Council space. Its surface remained smooth and featureless. No markings. No weapons. Yet local space warped around it like water around a stone. A council probe was launched to observe it at close range. The probe's feed lasted only seconds before data became meaningless. Time stamps repeated. Distance measurements contradicted each other. Then the probe vanished. No destruction signature was detected. It was as if it had never been built. This confirmed what many feared. The Armada did not destroy objects. It removed them from reality. The High Speaker struggled to maintain order as representatives argued over surrender, retreat, or desperate resistance. Old rivalries dissolved as survival became the only concern. Smaller species pleaded for protection. Larger empires demanded concessions from humanity in exchange for alliance. The human ambassador listened but did not commit. He said humanity would not trade fear for obedience. The Armada slowed its movement and stopped just beyond a critical boundary. Space stabilized slightly. Systems recovered. The message was clear. Humanity controlled escalation. The Council did not. The High Speaker asked what humanity intended next. The human ambassador replied that humanity wished to continue the meeting. He said the Armada would remain where it was as long as talks continued peacefully. This simple statement carried more authority than any threat. The Council understood that war was no longer a choice. It was a mistake waiting to happen. As the ships settled into their silent position, the galaxy adjusted to a new reality. The balance of power had shifted without a battle. The Dark Matter Armada had not attacked, conquered, or destroyed. It had simply moved. And in doing so, it had proven that the future of the galaxy would now be decided in quiet conversations, not loud wars. The Council needed proof, not of power, but of restraint. Fear alone could not guide a galaxy. The High Speaker announced that an independent verification was required to understand the true limits of the Dark Matter Armada. Several species agreed, believing that even gods could be measured. A controlled test was proposed in an uninhabited system near the galactic edge. The test would involve a small, outdated war fleet scheduled for decommission. If humanity refused, it would confirm hostile intent. The human ambassador listened carefully and then agreed. He stated that humanity would allow observation, but not interference. The Council accepted, relieved that dialogue had not yet collapsed. The test system was selected, empty of life and trade routes. The hologram shifted to show the fleet entering the region. The old warships formed a standard attack formation, their weapons powered but unfired. Observers across the galaxy watched in tense silence. The Dark Matter Armada arrived without warning. One moment the system was empty. The next, the black ships were simply there. No arrival flash. No energy spike. They existed as if they had always been present. The Council fleet began scanning immediately. Results were the same as before. No readable data. No measurable mass. Yet gravitational effects confirmed their presence. The High Speaker ordered the test to begin. A single Council warship was commanded to approach the nearest dark matter vessel slowly, keeping weapons offline. As it crossed an invisible boundary, its shields flickered. Internal systems reported conflicting data. Time markers drifted out of sync. Crew members experienced disorientation and nausea. The ship continued forward until alarms sounded across its bridge. Structural integrity warnings appeared without visible damage. Before panic could spread, the ship was ordered to retreat. It barely escaped. The human ambassador stated that this was the minimum safe distance. The Council demanded a demonstration of offensive capability. Humanity refused to perform an attack. Instead, they allowed a controlled hostile action. The Council fleet was permitted to fire a single low-yield weapon at an unmanned dark matter drone deployed for the test. The weapon launched. Energy surged. The shot reached its target and vanished. No impact. No reaction. The drone remained untouched. A second weapon was fired, stronger than the first. This time, the space around the drone twisted violently. The weapon curved, missing entirely, pulled away by unseen forces. A third attempt was made, and the result shocked everyone. The weapon struck empty space and erased itself. There was no explosion. The energy simply ceased to exist. The human ambassador explained that dark matter fields absorbed and redistributed the attack beyond measurable space. To the Armada, weapons were not threats. They were noise. The Council pushed further. A full strike was authorized from multiple ships at once, still within test limits. As the weapons fired, the dark matter drone responded for the first time. It did not attack. It activated a containment field. The incoming weapons slowed, stretched, and froze in space like insects trapped in amber. Then they disappeared. The surrounding space returned to normal. The test fleet was intact, but shaken. The Council was silent. This was not defense as they understood it. This was control over cause and effect. A Council commander asked what would happen if a populated world were targeted by such weapons. The human ambassador replied that humanity had built the Armada to prevent such events, not cause them. He added that the Armada could shield worlds as easily as erase threats, but only under human command. The test concluded, but fear deepened. The Council realized there were no known counters, no strategies, no escalation path. War against humanity was not dangerous. It was meaningless. A final request was made. The Council asked for proof of humanity's restraint. In response, the human ambassador ordered the drone to shut down. The dark matter field collapsed instantly. Normal space returned. The drone vanished, not destroyed, but deactivated and removed. The system stabilized completely. Humanity had shown absolute control. The High Speaker ended the session with a heavy voice. He stated that the test had confirmed humanity's claims. The Dark Matter Armada was not a weapon in the traditional sense. It was a boundary, a line drawn in reality itself. As the Council disconnected from the test feed, one truth settled across the galaxy. Humanity did not need to threaten. The universe itself enforced their decision. The test changed everything, but change always brings chaos before order. When the Council reconvened, the hall felt smaller, as if the weight of realization pressed inward from all sides. Old alliances began to fracture quietly. Powerful empires that once spoke with confidence now hesitated, their words careful and uncertain. Smaller species, long ignored or exploited, watched in silence, sensing an opportunity that might never come again. The High Speaker announced that the Council must address the balance of power openly. The galaxy could not pretend nothing had changed. The first proposals were defensive. Several empires demanded shared access to human technology, claiming that no single species should control such power. The human ambassador refused politely but firmly. He explained that dark matter systems required human neural integration and long cultural discipline. Sharing it was not only impossible, but dangerous. This refusal angered many, but none could challenge it. Others proposed new military coalitions, hoping strength in numbers might restore confidence. These talks collapsed quickly. Numbers meant nothing against control of reality. As debate continued, something unexpected happened. Representatives from minor systems began to speak. These species had endured raids, forced labor, and resource seizure for centuries. They did not ask for weapons. They asked for protection. They asked if humanity would stop the strong from feeding on the weak. The hall shifted. For the first time, the Council was not dominated by ancient empires. The human ambassador listened carefully. He said humanity did not seek to rule or police the galaxy, but they would not allow extinction wars or slavery to continue unchecked. This statement carried more force than any threat. Major empires protested, claiming internal matters were not subject to outside interference. The human ambassador responded that extinction was never an internal matter. The Council struggled to respond. The moral ground beneath them was unstable. Trade networks began to react even before decisions were made. Markets shifted toward human-controlled routes. Insurance guilds raised prices for regions known for aggression. Pirate activity dropped suddenly as rumors spread that dark matter patrols might appear without warning. Humanity had not announced enforcement, yet behavior changed. Fear of consequence reshaped the galaxy faster than law ever had. The High Speaker proposed a new charter, one that acknowledged humanity as a stabilizing force. The wording was careful, avoiding terms like authority or control. Humanity was labeled a guardian species, with the right to intervene in extreme cases. Several empires objected loudly. Smaller species supported it strongly. The vote was delayed as tensions rose. Behind closed channels, threats were exchanged. Some empires warned of rebellion or withdrawal. Humanity did not respond. The Dark Matter Armada remained still. Its silence spoke clearly. Eventually, a compromise emerged. A new council structure would be formed. Power would no longer be based solely on age or military size. Representation would include survival risk and historical suffering. This was revolutionary. Ancient empires would lose influence. Many resisted, but none could stop it. Humanity supported the change without celebration. The human ambassador stated that balance, not dominance, was the goal. As agreements took shape, reports arrived from distant regions. Long-running conflicts were ending suddenly. Slave fleets surrendered without battle. Warlords vanished. Some disappeared entirely, erased by unknown forces. Humanity denied direct action, but confirmed that the Armada had intervened when extinction thresholds were crossed. No warnings. No negotiations. Just quiet removal. This revelation frightened even humanity's supporters, but it also brought peace. The galaxy adjusted quickly to survival being enforced. The High Speaker realized the Council no longer controlled events. They responded to them. Law followed power, not the other way around. As the session ended, the human ambassador delivered a final statement. He said humanity did not wish to be loved or feared. They wished to be understood. The Dark Matter Armada would remain as long as the galaxy remembered its past mistakes. When the galaxy learned to protect itself without destroying others, humanity would step back. Until then, the balance would hold. As representatives departed, one truth became unavoidable. The galaxy had entered a new era. Not one ruled by conquest or fear alone, but by limits that could not be ignored. Humanity had not conquered the Council. They had reshaped it. And the galaxy, for the first time, felt both terrified and safe at the same time. The new balance brought peace on the surface, but beneath it lived deep curiosity and fear. The Council could accept humanity's role, but they could not accept what they did not understand. Power without understanding felt like blindness. The High Speaker announced a final request, not as a demand, but as a plea. The Council asked humanity to explain the truth behind dark matter control, not the technology itself, but the reason only humans could command it. The human ambassador paused longer than usual. He understood the risk. Truth could calm fear, or it could create new panic. He finally agreed to share limited knowledge. The lights dimmed, and a new hologram appeared, not of ships or space, but of the human brain. He explained that humans evolved under constant pressure. Predators, disasters, disease, and war shaped them. Their minds learned to focus under fear, to act while panicking, to adapt while breaking. Most species avoided fear and built cultures around stability. Humans never had that luxury. Their neural patterns became flexible, chaotic, and resilient. When humans first studied dark matter, they failed like everyone else. Machines could not control it. Artificial intelligence collapsed under its complexity. Dark matter did not follow commands. It reacted to intention. It responded to pattern, not force. Humanity discovered this by accident during early neural interface experiments. A dying scientist, connected to a prototype containment field, stabilized a dark matter surge unconsciously. His fear, focus, and will aligned for a moment, and the chaos settled. Humanity realized then that dark matter resonated with emotional discipline. Not emotion itself, but control over it. Humans trained for generations, teaching pilots and commanders to regulate fear, anger, and instinct under extreme stress. The Armada was not controlled by buttons or code. It was guided by human minds acting together, synchronized through neural lattices. This was why no other species could replicate it. Their cultures avoided mental strain. Their neural patterns rejected the feedback. For humans, the feedback felt natural. The Council reacted strongly. Some species found this horrifying. The idea that emotion, once considered weakness, was now the source of ultimate control challenged everything they believed. Others felt relief. This was not stolen power. It was earned through suffering. The human ambassador made it clear that even humans paid a price. Commanders aged faster. Neural strain caused memory loss. Some pilots never returned from deep synchronization. The Armada demanded sacrifice. Humanity accepted it willingly. A council scientist asked if humans could lose control. The ambassador answered honestly, "Yes." That was why strict command doctrine existed. That was why the Armada never acted without layered consensus. Humanity feared itself more than the galaxy ever could. This admission shifted perception again. Humanity was not reckless. It was cautious to the point of restraint. The discussion turned to artificial intelligence. Many species relied on AI to manage fleets and governance. The ambassador explained that dark matter rejected non-organic decision loops. AI sought optimization. Dark matter responded to intention. AI collapsed trying to define outcomes. Humans felt outcomes instead. This made replication impossible without becoming human. The Council realized then that the Armada was not just a weapon system. It was a cultural artifact, a reflection of humanity's history and psychology. The fear of copying it faded. The fear of humanity itself grew more complex. As the session continued, reports arrived of a disturbance beyond mapped space. Long-range sensors detected massive energy shifts, older than known civilizations. Ancient council members grew uneasy. Legends spoke of a force that consumed galaxies, a silence that followed advanced life. The human ambassador recognized the data instantly. Humanity had seen this before, in fragments, in warnings hidden in cosmic radiation. This was the reason the Armada existed. He shared this truth reluctantly. There was something beyond the galaxy that hunted intelligence. It did not conquer. It erased. Older civilizations had faced it and failed. The Council understood then why humanity trained for patience, why they feared extinction more than domination. The Armada was not built for the Council. It was built for what was coming. The human ambassador ended the explanation with a quiet statement. Humanity did not ask the galaxy to trust them. Trust was fragile. They asked the galaxy to survive with them. The Council was silent, not from fear this time, but from understanding. Dark matter was not humanity's secret anymore. Humanity's resolve was. And whatever waited beyond the stars, it would not find an unprepared galaxy again. The warning changed the mood of the entire galaxy. Peace built on fear was fragile, but fear of extinction was different. When reports of the disturbance spread, ancient records were reopened across countless worlds. Forgotten data vaults were unlocked. Stories once called myths were reviewed with new seriousness. Many civilizations had legends of a great silence, of stars going dark without war, of entire regions becoming empty and cold. Until now, these stories were dismissed as superstition. Now the sensor data matched the old fears. The Council gathered again, this time without argument. The High Speaker spoke with humility, asking humanity directly if the threat was real. The human ambassador confirmed it. He explained that humanity had discovered signs of the enemy decades earlier, hidden in radiation patterns and broken star systems. The enemy did not send fleets. It did not communicate. It did not negotiate. It simply removed advanced life once it crossed a certain threshold. The more complex a civilization became, the brighter it burned, and the easier it was to find. This enemy was older than the Council, older than recorded history. Some believed it was a force of nature. Others believed it was a machine intelligence born before time was measured. Humanity did not claim to know what it was, only what it did. Entire galaxies had gone quiet because of it. The Council demanded to know why humanity had not warned them earlier. The human ambassador answered honestly. Humanity was not sure anyone would listen. Young species were often ignored. Warnings without proof were treated as weakness. So humanity prepared instead. The Dark Matter Armada was designed not just to fight, but to hide, shield, and bend reality enough to mask civilization signatures. Humanity did not intend to face the threat alone, but they would if forced. This statement stunned the Council. Several ancient species admitted they had once faced something similar and survived only by regression, by destroying their own technology and hiding among stars. Humanity had chosen a different path. They chose to stand. Long-range sensors confirmed the disturbance was moving closer. Entire star clusters showed signs of disruption. Time dilation, missing matter, and energy collapse spread like a slow wave. Panic rippled through the galaxy, but it was controlled. The presence of the Dark Matter Armada gave structure to fear. Humanity proposed a coordinated response. The Council, for the first time, did not resist. Humanity would lead the defense, not as rulers, but as the point of contact. The Armada would move to intercept and observe. Civilizations would reduce energy emissions and shift to protected configurations. Worlds near the projected path would be shielded or evacuated if necessary. The scale of the operation was enormous. Never before had the galaxy acted as one. Some doubted it would be enough. The human ambassador did not promise victory. He promised resistance. The Dark Matter Armada began to move again, this time with urgency. Space bent and folded as ships repositioned across vast distances. They formed layered formations, not for attack, but for containment. Humanity shared defensive protocols openly. Smaller species followed them precisely. Larger empires hesitated, then complied when early data showed reduced detection risk. The enemy responded. A region of space ahead of the Armada went dark. Stars dimmed and vanished without explosion. Matter unraveled quietly. The Council watched in horror. This was not war. It was erasure. Humanity did not panic. The Armada activated deep field structures. Dark matter layers overlapped, creating zones where space resisted change. The advancing silence slowed. For the first time in recorded history, the enemy was delayed. The Council realized the truth. Humanity was not exaggerating its role. Without the Armada, the galaxy would already be dying. Communication channels filled with fear and hope in equal measure. Worlds that once distrusted humanity now relied on them completely. The High Speaker asked if this defense could hold. The human ambassador answered carefully. It could hold long enough. The goal was not to destroy the enemy, but to force it to adapt, to make the galaxy unpredictable again. Humanity believed the enemy targeted patterns. Dark matter allowed chaos to be shaped into defense. As the Armada advanced into the darkened region, human commanders entered deep neural synchronization. The cost was high. Several lost consciousness. Some would never return to normal life. Humanity accepted this silently. The Council watched as the first true engagement began. Not with explosions, but with reality itself resisting deletion. The galaxy held its breath. This was the moment everything had been building toward. Humanity was no longer revealing its power. Humanity was using it. And for the first time, the ancient silence met something that pushed back. The galaxy held its breath as the Dark Matter Armada advanced deeper into the unknown void. Stars ahead of them disappeared, their light swallowed by the creeping presence of the enemy. The Council's fleets remained at the edges, watching helplessly as the human-led Armada moved forward. Humans did not speak of fear, only of focus. Neural networks linked thousands of ships, commanders, and pilots, their minds synchronized to respond instantly. Time, distance, and space bent around them, allowing rapid repositioning without engines. The enemy approached without sound, without warning, its existence known only through the absence of light and matter. Sensors failed to register its size or shape. Attempts to target it produced nothing but anomalies. Humans did not fire until absolutely necessary. Instead, they deployed containment fields, dark matter barriers that reshaped local space, making the enemy's advance slow and calculable. Council members watched as entire star systems near the front lines fluctuated between existence and void. Human pilots adjusted fields in real time, stabilizing threatened planets while keeping their formations intact. Every movement required absolute coordination. A single error could erase a ship, or worse, allow the enemy to strike populated systems. As the fleet pushed forward, minor worlds in the path were evacuated, their populations hidden in layers of dark matter shielding. Humanity coordinated these efforts quietly, efficiently, without bureaucracy. For the first time, the Council realized that survival depended entirely on human discipline. The enemy reacted unpredictably. Space itself twisted, trying to bypass containment. Light bent strangely around advancing ships, causing optical illusions that disoriented even experienced observers. Several council scientists calculated that the enemy did not follow conventional physics. Its movements were neither linear nor random. It adapted, learning from the universe itself. Humanity responded, not with weapons, but with thought. Neural operators adjusted fields preemptively, predicting distortions and stabilizing them before they occurred. The Armada became a living network, merging cognition and matter. Every ship acted as part of a single organism, controlled by thousands of human minds acting in perfect synchronization. Occasionally, a ship would lose synchronization. Neural feedback overloaded the pilot. The Council witnessed the first casualties among the operators. Their ships slowed, faltered, then disappeared entirely. Humanity mourned, but the operation continued. No pause. No hesitation. These losses were accepted as the cost of survival. The enemy continued its advance, erasing planets quietly. Entire systems blinked out. No energy spikes. No warnings. Only absence. The Council's fleets could do nothing but retreat. Humanity did not. The Armada moved forward, stabilizing key sectors with dark matter shields, redirecting the enemy's path away from populated clusters. The first true engagement occurred when an enemy wave intersected with a dark matter containment field. The result was unlike any battle the galaxy had known. Space warped violently. Light fractured. Time markers on Council sensors conflicted. The enemy did not explode. It did not retreat. It simply strained against the barriers, attempting to displace them. 4 hours, the forces held. 4 hours, operators worked at the edge of consciousness, adjusting, predicting, and countering. The Council watched in awe. Humanity was not just defending. They were bending reality itself to survive. The enemy's advance slowed, but it adapted. Smaller gaps appeared in containment. The Armada responded instantly, reinforcing weak points, sacrificing some units to preserve the whole. Observers realized the truth. Humanity had turned itself into a shield, and the Armada was an extension of their minds. Entire sectors of space became safe zones, temporarily immune to erasure. Populated worlds held their breath, aware that even a minor error could undo everything. The High Speaker communicated constantly with the human ambassador, offering fleets and support. Humanity coordinated them carefully, using alien ships for observation, logistics, and minor stabilization. None engaged the enemy directly. The Armada alone bore the brunt. Days passed, measured by the distorted time around the front line. The enemy made progress, consuming regions far ahead, yet the Armada blocked critical paths, allowing life to survive. Every Council representative understood that humanity had become more than a species. They had become a force intertwined with space, thought, and existence. The final stage came when the enemy attempted a direct strike on a human-occupied system. Fields adjusted preemptively. Light, matter, and time bent to counter the threat. For the first time, the enemy's advance met resistance it could not simply erase. The containment held. The human neural network absorbed feedback, recalibrated instantly, and stabilized the system. The Council's fleets could only watch. Humanity was winning not by destruction, but by control. The enemy faltered, its movements becoming unpredictable and disordered. It tried to bypass shields, but each attempt failed. Neural synchronization allowed anticipation and adaptation beyond normal reaction time. Some Council members whispered that perhaps this ancient force was not invincible after all. Humanity, however, did not celebrate. Every operator understood the cost. Thousands had been lost to neural strain. Ships had vanished. Planets had been at risk. There was no triumph, only survival. And yet, the Council knew a new reality had emerged. Humanity was no longer simply a species among many. They were the galaxy's shield, its last line of defense against annihilation. As the Armada held, the enemy paused, uncertain, stalled by forces it could not erase. The High Speaker finally admitted it aloud. Without humanity, the galaxy would already be silent. For the first time in eons, the Council felt relief, tempered with fear. Humanity did not conquer. They protected. They survived. And in doing so, they changed the future of every star, every planet, every life. The battle was over, but the galaxy did not feel like it had one. Silence filled the council hall, heavier than before, carrying the weight of what had been survived rather than conquered. The Dark Matter Armada remained in place at the edges of known space, silent, unmoving, yet its presence was unmistakable. Humanity did not demand recognition, did not claim authority. They had acted, protected, and sacrificed, but they did not take power. The human ambassador addressed the council calmly, his voice carrying the gravity of their shared ordeal. He said the Armada would remain operational, not as a weapon of domination, but as a guardian of life, a stabilizing force for civilizations that could not defend themselves from threats beyond comprehension. The council members listened in awe. For generations, they had ruled through fear, diplomacy, and strength. They had assumed that control was always about command, about rules and armies. Now they realized that true authority could come from restraint, from discipline, and from the willingness to bear a burden alone. The High Speaker asked what the future would look like. The human ambassador explained that the Council would no longer control the galaxy in the same way. Humanity did not seek to dominate. Instead, the Council would act as an advisor and coordinator while humanity provided a stabilizing presence where needed. The galaxy would govern itself, but no extinction war would be allowed to continue unchecked. Smaller species nodded in relief. Many of the older empires resisted in words but knew deep down that their old methods no longer mattered. Markets, trade routes, and communication systems began to adjust naturally. Worlds that had once feared human expansion now sought cooperation. Humanity, however, did not take credit. They continued to operate silently, their fleets patrolling the edges of civilization, their ships acting as extensions of human minds. Casualties had been high among operators. Ships were lost. Worlds had been nearly erased. Humanity did not hide this fact. They accepted responsibility. They honored the dead. The Council understood that this was not a show of power, but a demonstration of the cost of survival. Over time, new protocols were established. Alien civilizations learned to signal human forces in emergencies. They shared data about unusual energy patterns and space anomalies. The Armada responded quietly, preventing disasters before they escalated. Humanity acted not as rulers, but as guardians, invisible yet essential. The Council realized the importance of this new order. Authority now came from cooperation, from understanding, and from survival experience rather than fear. Ancient rivalries shifted as species recognized a shared enemy and a shared protector. No one dared challenge humanity openly, not because of domination, but because everyone knew the price of miscalculation. The Council codified this understanding into new galactic laws. Extinction-level threats would trigger automatic intervention. Humanity's Armada would act, guided by their neural command structures. No species could command it. None could replicate it. It was uniquely human. Over time, the galaxy grew quieter, safer, yet alert. Knowledge of the Armada spread, creating a sense of respect rather than terror. Planets rebuilt, trade resumed, and civilizations that had once teetered on the edge of collapse flourished. Humanity did not celebrate victories. They returned to observation, preparation, and silent readiness. Their culture remained disciplined. The Armada was maintained, expanded carefully, and kept under strict control. The Council occasionally requested demonstrations, but humans always limited them to proof of functionality, never power projection. Stories spread among the stars about humanity's patience, resilience, and sacrifice. Bards and historians recorded that humanity had faced a foe older than most civilizations and survived without conquering. Children grew up learning of humans not as rulers, but as protectors. The human ambassador addressed the Council one last time before the final session of the Old Order ended. He said humanity would not rule the galaxy, but it would ensure the galaxy survived. They had no desire for dominion, no thirst for conquest. They had only learned from their past, survived their losses, and prepared for the future. The High Speaker, humbled, acknowledged humanity's role publicly for the first time. He said the Council had been reminded of a lesson often forgotten, that true strength was measured not by the ability to destroy, but by the will to protect. The Armada remained at the edge of known space, a silent promise and a constant guardian. Humanity returned to observation, training, and quiet growth, ensuring that no threat, no matter how ancient or incomprehensible, could erase the galaxy without resistance. And so, the galaxy entered a new era, one not of conquest or fear, but of survival and vigilance. Humanity did not conquer the stars. They saved them. And in doing so, they redefined what it meant to be powerful. The Council, the civilizations, and the countless lives across the galaxy would never forget the truth, that survival, discipline, and restraint could outweigh sheer force. Humanity's Dark Matter Armada had become a symbol not of domination, but of hope. The stars burned a little brighter, knowing that a vigilant guardian watched silently, ready and unyielding. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, humanity continued to prepare, not for glory, but for the promise of life itself.